I'm presenting today on behalf of Jelenko Dragosic and myself, and whilst I chair the Healthy Water Partnership for the Dry Tropics, and they're informed of this work, it's Jelenko and I talking to you today, and neither of us are water, marine or reef specialists. We've come to this concept through a convergence of decades of individual work. Me as a rural sociologist in community natural resource management across Australia, including government, First Nations, regional NRM, and a 23-year personal farming experience. And Jelenko, who managed the Jelenko, who managed the Red Cross disaster response for 20 years before becoming Greening Australia's Reef Portfolio Manager, which is where we met, and who is now an international authority on collaboration and resilience. And his practice, Road Mender, is all about fixing the potholes in the road of life. So while we're talking here today about the reef, we believe the principles apply to all landscapes. What happens if the reef isn't fixed by 2050? What if there's another crisis, environmental or social, that diverts funding before then, like South Australia's algal bloom on steroids? And even without these unknowns, there is a fundamental paradox in how we design adaptation strategies for landscapes impacted by climate change. We acknowledge climate as a dynamic, complex and emergent system, yet we anchor strategies to models that by necessity simplify complexity into linear or probabilistic scenarios. So we suggest that this leads to two key problems: fixation on predictive certainty and overlooking systemic interactions and tipping points. Because why save the reef if society collapses? Whether we're manufacturing automobiles or algorithms, all economic and social activity occurs within our planetary limits. When we go to the moon, we still take parts of the Earth with us to survive because everything is connected. And whilst reductionist thinking has enabled an understanding of the world in fine detail, its management should be built on recognition that nothing happens in isolation. So the current management approach treats the Great Barrier Reef as a closed environmental system with an emphasis on ecological restoration through predominantly government funding. But the reef is so much more. It's an environmental, social and cultural asset recognised and valued through its World Heritage Declaration. And like any asset, cars, bridges, buildings, share portfolios, our ecological assets need maintenance. The reef is visited and valued on a daily basis by the people who live in its realm, and the responsibility for its management doesn't lie solely with government. And Jelenko and I suggest an explicit recognition of this relationship will result in a better appreciation of individual roles and responsibilities. The reef is complex and has always been connected to the well-being of adjoining landscapes and the people who live in them. The ability of governments to pay is derived from the community's affluence and their ability to withstand shocks. So we need to see the complete system when we look. And to be clear, Jelenko and I don't have a blueprint for success, and we certainly aren't suggesting that collectively we're doing anything wrong. Australia is doing fantastic work in reef management, and no one needs to stop doing anything. What we are suggesting, though, is a paradigm shift in how we value, maintain, and accept responsibility for our natural environment. We need to rediscover our First Nation people's understanding of relationship with country. And climate adaptation must be systemic, not siloed, as policy, finance, infrastructure, and cultural adaptation are interconnected. And that applies equally to human health and environmental health. So we propose that a clear alignment of investment with the regional community's social and economic well-being through an economic zone will address this paradox and improve both the communities and the reef's resilience. And this can be done through a focus on collaborative regional resilience. So we've given our paradigm shift a name, Reefonomics. And if you take one thing from this talk, take this word and use it, because words matter. More inclusive than linear mechanistic thinking, a circular approach will leverage the reef's international status, attract continuing investment in regional resilience and sustainable growth, and improve management outcomes. And it's also aligned with the global aspiration for a nature-positive world agreed to by 196 nations when they signed the Global Biodiversity Framework in 2022. Thank you.